Hey, and welcome to Wise Body, Ancient Soul. This is Charisse Sisou, your host. I'm just jumping in with a quick intro to our next episode and a few words on what's going on in the podcast. We are gearing up for a new season. I am so excited to announce that in the working on my second book, I've really been tapping into ancestral patterns, healing, communicating with the ancestors. And so I really want to take a deeper dive into that in our next season. In the meantime, in the next coming months, I'm just going to be doing a little calling back to some previously unpublished episodes, bringing those forward, as well as some really exciting conversations on what's happening right now in the collective. In this episode, I dive into a topic that a couple of my teachers and guides on the path have been commenting on as well. And it's this idea that here we are sharing this planet, and yet we seem to have very different realities at work. This episode is just about how to navigate these amazing times and how you can really be aware and reset your own reality. There's a lot that we can bring as individual participants to this co-creative stage, if you will. So welcome and enjoy. Ready to have a deeper conversation about body and soul, sacred leadership, and our collective evolution? Welcome to the Wise Body, Ancient Soul podcast with me, your host, Charisse Sisou. Multiple realities, one planet. It seems as if the world is splitting in two, if not more. As my friend and nature being expert Attila Toy wrote recently, we are shifting into a time of two Earths, one planet, a prophecy that only began making sense to her in our present time. Many ancient seers, she writes, spoke of a time when two Earths would merge. Now, as that long foretold time arrives, we are experiencing a deepening divide in perception. Around the world, people interpret reality through drastically different lenses. She continues, two people can share the same room, hear the same message, and walk away with entirely opposite understandings. It's as if they live on two Earths, sharing space, yet vibrating on different frequencies. All around us, we see this divergence happening, separating across perspectives, drifting apart according to resonance. Many of us are, in many ways, returning to original ways of being, reconnecting with the consciousness of the planet, who is evolving with or without us, and other beings who share this world with us, like nature and star beings, who have long been invisible to us because we fell out of frequency with them. Another dear friend, naturopath and teacher Dr. Michelle Peel, received a related vision. Last year, her angels showed her a vast elliptical orbit of multiple Earths, each cycling through a stationary Earth. In her book, The Birth of Quantum Energy, The Pathway to Ascension, she writes, each of the Earths has lessons to teach mankind. If the Earth passing through is the one that has the lesson you need to learn, then you would translate over to that Earth seamlessly. Your higher self would handle the choice for your greater spiritual growth and development. In her vision, there are as many coexisting perspectives as there are Earths orbiting, as we choose the one that resonates with what we next need to learn. Multiple dissonant perspectives can coexist simultaneously. Above all, each is a matter of choice. This doesn't always feel true as we witness old paradigms violently crash around us and are being constantly pulled at by media and even our friends and family to join in the fray, the chaos, to fear this change and struggle to create anew. That is not an instinct. However, that is a program, the struggle program, right? Within an outdated paradigm, we've been taught that the only way to implement change is to replay the game of fear and opposition, to fight and change who has power over whom. It is a game that has been played over and over for thousands of years that has no winners, not in the long term anyway. And it's not the only way. As Audre Lorde wisely said, speaking against a backdrop of hundreds of years' history of enslavement within the US, we cannot dismantle the master's house with the master's tools. So then, how do you dismantle old paradigms when all we've known are the tools that emerge from them? It means a total release of the current system, a total letting go of the past. This is the part I think that stings many the most. I've watched people hold on to past hurts for decades. Myself, it took me years and years to let go of traumas from my childhood. And even as I speak, I'm working with my ancestors right now in the writing of my second book to heal pain carried over generations. So it's not an easy ask, right? It's not like, oh well, done with the past. But it is something that for me is a constant work in progress because letting go is key to our freedom. I think that we're attached because we think that if we let it go, it's like we're saying some past injustice or current injustice was and is okay, acceptable, that we condone what was done. But nothing could be further from the truth. By letting go of the past, which fuels many of the current conflicts, we choose to no longer resonate with the reality in which such injustice can exist. By letting go of the past, we free ourselves to move forward. Let me say that again because it's important. It is only by letting go of the past that we free ourselves to move forward. Another way to think of it within the context of multiple Earths is that you can't take the past with you. It will keep you tethered, stationary, no longer moving, and therefore no longer learning and growing. And at the highest resonances, we choose instead to step into a present future created of something altogether different. Seer and psychic Amanda Ellis seconds this idea, relaying a channel from Princess Diana and the Sacred Feminine, which speaks to projecting peace. During this time, as the war machine ramps up, we need to ramp up the peace machine, the heart apparatus, she says. Basically, these so-called foregone conclusions that yet again conflict can only be resolved through violence are being touted as the only way. And yet we know that there are alternatives to this. It is more important than ever that we align our energies with the resonance of the world in which we wish to inhabit, to align with those highest resonances. And how do we do that? Breathe into gratitude and trust. Trust in God or whatever your name is for the divine will of which we are all part. By remaining in that energy, that is the world we inhabit. It's simple quantum physics. Our subtle quantum entanglements with the world around us have the most profound seismic impact. We can make the biggest difference to our world by fine-tuning our energy. And that's not an exercise in bypassing or tuning out of what's happening in the world. The opposite. It's like, what is my appropriate response? And taking that action. And for some of us, it means joining the front lines of protests. And for others of us, it means writing articles, writing books, reaching out to our local legislators. For some of us, it means taking care of our local circles, caring for the people around us so that they can make their impact in the world. It could mean setting the energy grid for your town or city or neighborhood by tending to and creating your own vortex of calm and peaceful energy within everything that's happening. That's the starting point. We can't affect change in any of these arenas if we're coming to it in our own state of chaos and fright. We can only make a difference that whatever we do, however we do it, we create more of that, right? So if we're doing something in a spirit of spite or anger or angst, then we create more of that energy, right? I believe that, think of the voices that have transcended history, the voices who we still call upon, whom we still quote around justice and freedom. They are the people who came from a righteous heart, a righteous, peaceful heart. Like sometimes a troubled heart, that doesn't mean that you're not troubled. It doesn't mean that you don't feel the feels, like feel the feels. That is a part of this. And tend your energy, because we can't do anything if our energy is frayed, if we're just creating more chaos, right? Looked at another way, if we want to see more forgiveness in the world, where can we be the energy of forgiveness ourselves? It is so much easier to look outside of ourselves. I'll tell you that right now. It's so much easier to look at the world and say that what's happening is out there. But if you walk the path of ancestral wisdom, then you know that we are the dreams of our ancestors, that we walk in their footsteps. And so if we look at the ancient technologies like Ho'oponopono, where we are acknowledging our part in co-creating the energy of our world, then the only way through is looking within and looking at ourselves and taking full responsibility for how we are contributing to or co-creating this energy ourselves. The way this has been playing out in my own life, I've been challenged by my guides to be conscious and intentional when my emotions flare. So before an angry outburst or even after it started, I pause, or I try my best to pause. It sounds minor, but it really isn't. For years, the only times I felt powerful were when I screamed my frustration. Inherited from my lineage, I repeated what I'd experienced until I chose to break the cycle. In that pause, I allow the emotions to flow through my body. And before resorting to knee jerk scolding or yelling, I walk myself through it. What's really going on here? What needs to be communicated? And how can I communicate it without the intense energy of anger? And I check in like half the time when I'm feeling super irritated. It's because I'm hungry. It's because I'm tired. It's because I'm stressed or depleted in some way. And so before I say a word, before I can do anything, the first thing I need to do is take care of myself, restore myself to wholeness. Then I can come back in and say, okay, what needs to be said here, right? What needs to be communicated? What needs to be shifted? Because the anger isn't out of nowhere, right? It's a messenger. Yeah. But to act in that anger usually has the totally opposite effect of what we want. So by being more compassionate and peaceful and responsible in my life, I've felt the ripple effects of this in my relationships, and I've witnessed my kids, now grown, respond to this loving touch. This total responsibility for our energy and action is the heart of spiritual maturity. Does spiritual maturity equal perfection? No. Of course, we make mistakes all the time. I make mistakes all the time. I'm human. We are human. But we learn from the mistakes. We come back from them quicker and recommit to do and be better every single time. It is an ongoing refinement, the great adventure of being here and being human. So whatever our resonance, it begets more of the same. Choosing frustration and annoyance begets more. Choosing love multiplies love. Like, what do you want more of in the world, right? As a friend and client, a seasoned therapist puts it, this ability to not get caught up is imperative for a healer. We can't help anyone if we're in the hole with them, she confides. There needs to be a measure of distance. So clear boundaries so we maintain perspective. I would put strong emotions in this category. Emotions are valid and important messengers, so they're not to be ignored or suppressed. But handing them the steering wheel is like putting a toddler in the driver's seat. In terms of the actions we take, we get to maintain perspective. Another sign of spiritual maturity, which is it's like required right now. People of all ages, it doesn't matter how old you are. It's time to put in our grown-up panties and just say I'm responsible. I'm responsible for my world. And what am I going to do about it, right? So that means that every time we reach that fork in the road, we choose the road of clearest, cleanest energy over the road of garbled or activated energy, that we choose the beneficial over the non-beneficial. Go where our innermost guidance leads us as much as humanly possible. And with energies faster and more intense than at any other time in our history, even the smallest, most nuanced decisions can have more impact than we can foretell. As light holders and peace bringers, it is more important than ever that we connect with the wisdom of our hearts and make our decisions from its highest resonance, its highest wisdom. This is our connection with divine. This is our connection with all that is. If you are not in alignment with your heart, it is not a question of whether, but when it will fail, right? This is something that the angelics told Dr. Peel a long time ago. If your heart's not in it, forget about it, right? The energy in which we live our lives determines which earth we move forward on. Now is the time for diligence, for faith, for love. Now is the time to be fully and consistently intentional with how and where we put our energies to maintain a clear state of resonance. So the choice is yours. Which reality do you choose? Which earth do you choose to co-create? I hope we get to co-create it together with so much love. Thanks for joining me on Wise Body, Ancient Soul. I hope it reminds you how magical and powerful you truly are. Kindly subscribe, rate, and review this podcast so more juicy light bringers like you can hear these transmissions. And if you're looking to connect more deeply with your body and soul's wisdom, visit CharisseSisou.com to learn how else we can play together. Here's to your joy and wild success. From my heart to yours, I love you. Take what you need and pass it on.